Hola mis serenitas, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Chiquita Serenita, and today I'm doing my last bin collection of my palettes. Like I said, you guys, some of these in here are so little, like they're literally one or two or maybe three at the most of one given brand, that it's just not worth, you know, giving it its own little bin. First off, we have my Buxom Xtrovert palette. This palette I only used once for my tutorial, and even though I did like this palette, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I probably wouldn't use Opalescent because it was like a super shock shadow, and it's very clear. It doesn't have enough pigment enough for me to like it, you guys. And Enigma is like a pastel green. Even though I do like it, I just feel like it's not for me. I think by far the best colors in here for me were Crazy Rich, Rare, and Hypnotic. And I still like, I like these two. Next we have this one. I'm not sure of her name. I'm going to look her up. I bought her off of Etsy. She is from like an independent owned indie brand. So they're not exactly well known, you guys. And the outside looks like this. I don't really like the outside. It's a bunch of fake flowers. I like the trouble they went into to try to make it look like a pretty palette. But I don't see the reason to do all this. But it's cute, you know. It's a plastic little packaging. These are the names of the shades in here. They're all named after flowers. These are the colors, a very rainbow. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shimmers. All the ones on the bottom are pastel shimmers. All the ones on the top are very bold shimmers, and these are all mattes in the middle. The pastels, I'm not really convinced with them. I've never used this palette. I'm just being honest. I haven't. I've always got around to it. I bought it to make a review on it, just to, like, you know, see if you guys like this type. Maybe it would surprise us in the end. I don't know. But when I got it, it just got thrown on the back burner, the poor thing. And it's always been my intention to make a video on it. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably make one. Next we have my Amma palette. Alma came out, like, I think in November or December, one of those months. And if you guys ever seen Amy Loves Makeup, she's another YouTuber on here. I've been subscribed to her for so long. She didn't announce that she was creating this, or she created this palette with the owner of Amy Loves Beauty. And that's an indie brand. It's what you consider an indie brand. She's a one-woman show, and sold out. Really, that first day I bought it. I bought it at 9, and then when I checked on the website by 9 o'clock at night, it was already sold out. And the colors in here are so pretty. It's just some of the formulas are inconsistent. Amy never wanted to change the formulas anymore. She just left them. I think a lot of people were complaining about, you need to reformulate the formula. And then so many people were giving her so much crap about stuff not getting shipped out, like, quickly. I think I waited a good month for my palette to get to me. And that's because she's a one-woman show. She's literally making the palettes, pressing the powders into the palettes, and then shipping every single thing out herself. I mean, given she does get help from, like, her husband and stuff, but still, like, she's a one-woman show. I think people are being way too mean on the internet, on Instagram, just bashing her for it, comparing her to, like, other companies. Like, Ulta would never do me that. Well, Ulta's, like, international, okay? So is Sephora, so is Jeffree Star. Don't be comparing them to her. But the only thing I think I said I didn't like in my video was these three ones are so close in, like, color. You can't really tell them apart. These are very powdery shimmers that break apart very easily. You have a ton of fallout. But colors like this make it worth it. This color that's called Lover, Wish, Heart, Lovely. This one is called Blessed, Spirit, and Roman Takes the Cake. Roman beats the whole damn show and comes to show up. Those are the colors that I love in here. I've only used this palette one time, and that's because it's a limited edition. You can buy them as singles right now. I think at first she restocked maybe one. Next we have Cor de Rosa from Sigma. If you guys watch my tutorial, you guys know how much I love this palette. It's very pretty. I love the time and that they took to create this. to make every single little detail on this palette. It's just so beautiful. The colors in here, the only problem you have with these colors is that the mattes have to be built up. But that's not really like, that's not really like a loss for me, you know. If they have to be built up, they have to be built up. If you have to put in the work, then you do. But as long as she shows up, I really don't care. I think by far my favorite thing about this was the brush, because it's just like this dark terracotta orange, and I was here for that. I was like, ooh, everything about this palette I just love. And if you guys are wondering what I have on my lips, I have the Cordurosa lip gloss on, and I just put one of my Ulta Beauty, it's called Spice lip liner, and then I just put the lip gloss on top. So I still get a lot of use out of those Cordurosa lip glosses. I still use every single one of them. I love them. They're very comfortable. They're not sticky. And I'm like, heck yeah, you know. So this is like one of my staple ones. Even though I've only used it once, I'm not going to get rid of it ever because it's just so beautiful. Next we have Pinky Rose Sunflower Palette. I've seen so many looks on this palette, you guys. I've only used her one time, but I've been dying to dip into her again because I've seen so many looks with it. Pinky Rose, if you guys don't know, it was started by two sisters, and they're actually here from Sacramento. So I was actually able to go in person and buy this palette. I still like this palette. I find it very cute. This one showed up so good. I used that on my bottom. If you guys ever watched the video, I used that as my bottom lid right here. And I love this color. All the shimmers in here I love. I think I used that one, but no, actually I didn't. That's a transition shade. They put an actual transition shade. I didn't use her. I think I used this one because I didn't trust that yellow to show up on my skin tone. But I like this palette. I actually wanted to get their purple one. I'm not sure if it was like violet, something like that. Next we have Alter Ego Aurora palette. I did an actual review on this palette. People were comparing it to Natasha Denona Sunset palette. I had no problems with these colors. Some of them weren't as pigmented as I was hoping they would be. Like, I think I had a problem with this sunburst color. It just kept, it wasn't as, see, it's not as pigmented. I'm pretty sure I could have built her up because back then I wasn't really good with shadows. Oh no, she's just powdery, see. I did have problems with her, and I think it was just her. Everything else in here was okay. I wouldn't really use Shine, I think, because it was too light. But I actually used Soul, and I didn't really have, I think I didn't have a problem with Soul. But the shimmers in here are what made it worth it. All these shimmers in here are so beautiful. They have more shimmers than matte, by the way. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mattes, and the rest are all shimmers. Oh, this Twilight too. But I don't know. I didn't have any problems with it. Do I think it's the best? It's probably not the best. But it's like a $16.99 palette, and I don't expect perfection at that price. Next is my Alter Ego Goddess palette. Definitely, if you guys are going to pick between the Aurora palette and the Goddess palette, I highly recommend the Goddess. The Goddess just has all these beautiful colors in here. They were comparing it to the Natasha Denona Gold palette. Oh my god, you guys. I only used this palette one time when I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Mother's Day. No, my daughter got baptized that day. And I used Artemis. Oh my god, you guys, I love Artemis. It's like this super aquamarine shimmer. And they have Gala in here. That's just like this dark teal matte. All the shimmers in here make it worth it. I love every single matte. I don't really like the idea of Hera and Iris because Hera and Iris are not that far out from each other. They're only like 1 tone difference. But even Freya, you guys, Freya over here is like this gold highlight right there. Can you guys see her? Like, look at her. I love every single color in here. I don't know if you guys want to, I can make a review on that one because this palette is super old by beauty, you know, community standards. It's a super old palette. It has been around at least for a year. But we can make a review. I mean, I can make a review on it if you guys want to. Or we can do a random get it ready with me because that's just a pretty palette. And if I can convince one of you guys to buy it, you should. Because it's pretty. Next we have the Violet Voss Sakura palette. I just used that in what's it called? I did a tutorial on it today. So you guys are probably going to see the tutorial first, way before you guys see the collection video. Because let's be honest, my collection ones take a little longer. So these are the colors. This is brand new, you guys. It just barely came out, like I think about a week ago or so. I just saw it on Trend Mood, and then I ran to Sephora to grab it because it's so pretty. There's so many pinks in here. I had no problems. That's the look I'm wearing right now, you guys. This is from this palette. So pretty. I used Delicate as my transition shade. Then I used Pink. And then I used Festival right here in the outer corner. And then Wild on the bottom. Super cute. I had no problems. Even the swatches I liked. I didn't like Blossom because it was too light. But every single shimmers here is incredibly pigmented. Some of these in here can cause your staining. Because look at my fingers, you guys. This is just from swatching that palette. So you're going to have staining. But trust me, she didn't come to play. The pigment's there. It's just some of them you have to work for it. And then there's that possibility you're going to have staining. So, yeah, been warned. Next from Violet Voss, we have my Sweet Violet Fun Size palette. This is another palette, you guys, that I don't know what it is with Violet Voss. Even though they're palettes, this is a super cute palette, you guys. Super small. It's like this compact one. Look, it fits in my little palm of my hand like this. That's how cute it is. But the colors in here are super pretty. I love purples. The pigments were not joking in this palette, but I had such bad staining from the eye. Like, after I took off, I still had this very visible purple. I looked like I got socked in the eye. Okay, you guys? But like I'm saying, for some reason with Violet Voss, the pigment is there. Some of them, the shimmers, don't have to, either they have to be built up, like maybe like this one right here, see, has to be built up. So you guys see, it's just like this very light shimmer. But other ones, like this one, they need no introduction. They're super pigmented on their own. So, you see? But it's something that they put in those shadows that cause staining. And I'm pretty sure for someone who's like sensitive skin, you're going to have more than just staining. You're going to have like watery eyes or maybe like a bad effect to your skin. I don't know. But just be warned, even though these palettes are cute and they are really pigmented, like if you have sensitive skin, I do not recommend this one or the Sakura because they are pressed pigment. Next we have Natalie Ann's Rose Kisses palette. This is a one-woman show. This is her second palette. She has another one that I own too. So I own the first one and the second one. They're pretty cheap. When they're on sale, they're $14.99. When they're not on sale, they're about $24 or something like that. I bought them both when they were on sale, so I got them super dirt cheap. But I love the colors in here. I'm not really too fond of In Love in here. I've only used this palette one time for my tutorial. You guys can check it out if you guys haven't seen that video yet. But I'm in love with this honey color, the melon, the amber, the brunch, the raspberry. All those colors are so beautiful. Even Lust. I would still consider myself using rose. Even though in Ice Cold in here is an actual like blinding highlight. It's not an actual like, you know, white matte or anything like that. So you can pretty much use it as a highlight. It's very pretty. Next we have Mermaids Only. This is also from Natalie Ann. Like I said, she only has 2 palettes and I own both of them. This was her first one. The colors in here are super cute. I only used this palette one time for my tutorial if you guys want to check that out too if you haven't seen it. But I'm in love with Mystic. Seashell Sebastian is crazy. When I swatched that in my video, I couldn't believe it. Like, oh my god, it's like a sherbet orange. I love every single color in here. I just don't like sand and snow, and you guys already know why that is because I don't wear the light ones. But everything else in here is super cute. I love it. I've seen so many looks. If you guys go on Instagram and you look up the Mermaid Only palette, you guys are going to see so many people have used this palette and so many beautiful looks that you can create from this palette. I was like, when my mouth opened, like, that came from that? I would have never used it that way, you know, because I'm very simple, you guys. I'm not double, triple cut crease and all that stuff. Next, we have the Beauty Creations Frida palette. I bought this, you guys, when I was still starting out buying makeup and stuff. And even though it was out already for like a month, I think it was out for a month, I just got it thinking that I was going to use it for a video. And then I just never did it. Because when I got it, I got so overwhelmed with the color story in here. Like, there's just a lot of things going on here, if I'm being honest, you guys. Like, you see this, right? It looks like a sherbet rainbow just threw up in this palette. So overwhelming, so many different colors. I don't even know what to do with it. That's why I never made a video on it. Like looking at it now, I love these shimmers in here. I'm very, you know, this one looks so beautiful. It looks like a dark olivey green. This one looks like an emerald green. I'm not crazy about the mattes, but the shimmers are really drawing my attention. Some of the purples are drawing me in, but other than that, it's like, I don't know what to do with it. And even though I love gold, like that's super nice gold right there. I've not used her once, and I feel so freaking bad. I want to use her just to give her a chance. Maybe she might end up being like James Charles palette, where I was just too overwhelmed, but then later on I liked it, you know. I got to give her a chance. Next we have the Arcana palette. I have not used this Arcana palette one time. I bought it, and it took forever to ship out to me when we were like during quarantine. But look at these dark colors in here. It's obviously like occult themed, but I like it. I like this green in here, this dark green. Like all the colors in here are very, very goth dark, but I haven't used her once. And it's not because I don't want to. It's not that I don't feel inspired. It's just I've never had the time to. Honestly, I'm in love with this Altar, Chalice, Enchantress, Darkling. Alchemy is like calling my name. I'm not even playing. Like that's how deep green it looks. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? Like, are you seeing that? That is so beautiful. I think I'm just going to create like a random get ready with me. I'm thinking about just adding a whole, I don't want to call it series. I want to create like a series of videos where I just start, you know, doing my makeup and just talk a lot of smack, you know, just random stuff. And we'll just sit there and just do our makeup and talk smack, you guys. I don't care. So, also from Strobe, I bought these little, it came like a little pack of 3. So, I haven't used these either. This one's called Night Song. It's like a teal blue, very pretty. And then this one is called Soulstone. It's a very pretty purple. And this is Artifact, which is like a chartreuse green. So, we're just going to do that, you guys. We're going to use it for like a random get ready with me. Next we have Revolution, Makeup Revolution London. This is from their One Creative Volume 1. My niece gave this to me for my birthday, and I have not used her once. The colors in here are not bad looking. I don't even know if she's pigmented, to tell you guys the truth. I don't know. I haven't used her. But just eyeballing it, this color story is very overwhelming to me. That's why I probably haven't used it, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do with you? So it's really just about taking the time to use her. Obviously, I'm not going to get rid of her. It was a gift, and I'm just going to have to find the time to use her. Next, we have Revolution, Makeup Revolution. This is Forever Flawless one. This was also gifted to me by my same niece. I have not used that one either, but I really love this one. It has a lot of colors in here that I gravitate towards, especially like Saturn right here, Night Sky, Neptune, Harp. Just very pretty shimmers, you guys. Crazy shimmer. This matte right here, like, I don't even know, but look at that. Like, they didn't come to play, right? They have such pretty colors in here. I can't really say bad things about it, honestly, because I haven't used it. But like I said, it's about taking the time. I'm going to have to find the time to use it. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to start with the Revolution palette that I didn't get to show you guys last time. This is my last Revolution palette in my collection. This is the one that's called Decadent. I have not used this one time. When I was doing a declutter, I thought about decluttering it just to, you know, get it out. But I couldn't do it because even though I have not used it, I just have to find the time to use it because I actually like these colors. They're very orangey. You guys know I like orange ones. The only one I don't see myself using is this one. But like, come on. Plush over here is this metallic orange color. Like, isn't that beautiful? Look at Glimmer. These shimmers in here are incredible. Look at Glimmer. Sundown, Sienna, Majesty. All these colors I could see myself using. The only one, and even then I could use her because she is a shimmer. She is not a matte. So even then I could use her as like an inner corner highlight. You guys see that? That reminds me of Horse and Carriage highlighter from the Disney Masquerade collection. So I'm using her. I don't care if we're doing a get ready with me. We're just going to get our makeup done, talk some smack. That's another video one I'm going to do because it's very pretty and I want to use that palette. I want to keep that palette staying here. I'm going to be buried with it, okay? I don't care. I want to see all those shimmers slapping on my face. Next, we have the VCR palette. This is the Spritz Edit palette. You guys haven't seen the tutorial on it because I have not had the time to do it. But just know that it's coming still. I'm still planning on doing it. So this is her, you guys. This is the very first VCR palette that I own personally in my collection. And I could tell you guys right off the bat, I was more impressed with the swatches on Instagram than I was when I got her in actual life. Now, they tend to blow up the colors, like the palette in general, blow it up really, really big so it looks bigger in person. This is an actual like fun size palette. I am not impressed with this palette versus how much I paid for this palette. Because honestly, it looks like this little... It's small. It's just really small, and it's disappointing that it's this small. It's micro compared to the other palettes. So this is the Wet n Wild one, and like if I close her, you're gonna see how small she is. She is basically fits in the palm of your hand. This is I don't remember how much she costs. I'll probably put somewhere up here how much she costs. Don't judge me. I already know. I'm beating myself up for paying that much for this freaking palette, okay? But just know, I still plan on doing a tutorial and a review on her. I'm going to give her a chance. I'm going to let her try to redeem herself because as of right now, this B is like completely overrated and not worth the money I paid visually. Probably because it's an Italian brand. They have a hardcore fan base, by the way. So I'm pretty sure, much like Nabla, I'll either like it or not. We'll see. We'll see how she goes. Next we have Mamacita Cosmetics. This is Mexico Lindo. I honestly bought this palette when I saw Mamacita Cosmetics on Trends Mood. And I decided to like... I fell in love with this palette when I looked at it on the Trend Mood. It's super pigmented, bright, bold colors. And it has... all the colors represent like a state, like Michoacan, Hidalgo, Sinaloa, Jalisco, Durango, Guerrero, all those like, you know, states in Mexico. And I just loved it. I saw lots of people doing looks with it. Here's the thing though. She stains like crazy. And I don't know this personally from my face. I just know that my fingers were stained after using her just from swatching. So I swatched Sonora and Guanajuato. And I can tell you guys that obviously she's pigmented. But I don't care how much pigment you get from a palette if it stains. I don't like staining. Staining is, it's a hard pass for me, you guys. I don't like staining on the eye. It's frustrating, but look how pigmented these colors are. These colors didn't come to joke, you guys. Like, they didn't come to play. I find that the consistency of the shadows on my fingers are very... heavy, almost like a chalkiness to them. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I personally don't have shadows that feel like this. I know that she's like a less known indie brand. It's I believe it's a one-woman show. So, you know, the quality's probably not there. I didn't pay a lot for her. This is Michoacan, which is where my dad is from, by the way. She has a lot of fallout. But look how pretty that one is. That one does have to be built up. Let me try Sinaloa, which is like a lime green. Ooh, that one's not that pigmented. Yeah, I'm just not impressed. I'm not. But if you guys want a tutorial with that, I'll still use it. I'll risk my eyes for you guys. And then maybe I could do like a close-up after I take off my eye. I like to see if it did stain. Because if I do a little like close-up of my eyes and my eyes are staining, you guys are going to hear me cracking up at myself. I'm going to start laughing at myself. Because that's what I do to myself. I don't get sad about something like that. I'm just going to be laughing at myself and making fun of myself. You know, nobody can roast myself more than I roast myself. Okay. Next we have Gimme Glow Cosmetics. And this is Summer Vibes. I bought this maybe like, I want to say a month ago when they had just restocked it, I guess, for this year. I bought it up with the quickness, honestly, because I've heard good things about this company. And it is vegan and cruelty-free. Their shadows are a bit like when you buy their shadow single, they are a bit pricey, but they're totally worth it because they're like huge. Their size of their, you know, look at these. Like these are huge compared to the little tiny ones that Colourpop gives us, are probably this, half this of this. And look at these colors. I'm going to do some swatches just real quick, you guys. Not of all of them, but like I'm going to show you guys. Watermelon here is this bright pink. Like she didn't come to play. Look at that. That's just one swatch. Mango Margarita. Look at that. It is a super old palette, makeup wise, makeup world wise. But if you guys want me, I'll totally do like a little swatch review video on it because I've been dying. I'm going to dive into it regardless. You guys can either be included or not. Just let me know. It is a very beautiful palette. Like look at Fireworks right here. Just Fireworks alone makes the palette. She's a dual chrome. She has this very significant purple, not purple, orange and yellow shift, like a gold shift. This company makes these blinding shimmer highlighter ones. And their mattes are super pigmented, like crazy pigmented. And I just like, when I saw them, I was like, I'm buying that palette. I also wanted their little, they have the spicy palette, but I kind of backed away from it. I was like, oh no, I'm more interested in the summer palette. But they come up with palettes, not very that often, but their stuff sells out like that. So you know their stuff is good. If their stuff sells out so quickly, and they're not exactly cheap. I think it was like 35, 40 bucks. I don't know. I'll probably put that up here, how much I paid for this exactly. It has since sold out, and I think they restocked it maybe 2 weeks ago or so. I'll let you guys know up here too if it's sold out right now currently. I don't know. Next, I'm going to start doing all my Wet n Wild in here. I don't have that many. I have literally 4 Wet n Wild. So this is my Wet n Wild Pride palette. You guys already know. If you guys watched my Walgreens haul, you guys saw that I did all the swatches in here. I'm not impressed with any of these metallic shimmers. The only one I really like and it stands out is this one. Maybe this one and probably that one. And the rest, I love the purples actually. That one's a really nice purple and the silver was really cute. But the one that stood out to me was this blue one. Because I love blues like that. But I don't consider this a Pride palette. None of these colors scream Pride to me. And the quality is like hit and miss. You know, it's not something that, wow, I really want to use this palette. I just feel so inspired. It's nothing like that. Next we have the Bretman Rock times Wet n Wild. This was the very first Wet n Wild palette I ever bought. And I think that's probably why I didn't give up on the brand so quickly. Because this palette did that. It basically like maybe, wow, this is Wet n Wild quality. This is really nice. The look I did that day, I think I used Venomous. Venomous is by far, this one, no, actually not Venomous. I want to say Peacock. Peacock Energy was the best color. The one that stood out the most is this duochrome. It has like a dark green and then it has this lime green shift to it. Just like, look at that metallic. It is. It's like a metallic. But it's so pretty. It stood out so much. Deeper is one of those other colors too. I've only used this palette one time. I just haven't had a chance to use it again. But it's become basically one of those palettes that I'm probably never going to get rid of. Because she has such beautiful colors in here. If you guys want to check out my video, it's still up if you guys want to see it. That's the gold one in there called King of the Jungle. Look how blinding that gold is. My last 2 Wet n Wild, you guys, are the Melody and Kuromi palettes. You guys already know I did Melody. I haven't used Kuromi just yet, but I have seen people make looks with this. And it's such a pretty, this color scheme, like that purple right there. That purple, this purple, that purple. Maybe the gold. I'm not too crazy about 1, 2, 3, 4. That one wasn't that pigmented. 5 because that's not something that I don't already have in my collection. Black is black to me. There's always a matte black somewhere. But I think that's such a unique color, this one. Even though it does like look flaky and stuff. I don't know. It just looks like very blinding shimmer. But other than that, I don't like that they smell like a freaking fruit basket farted on you. That's how fruity they smell. Even after you apply it to your eye, you're walking around the house, you go outside, whatever, you could smell it coming off of you. You could smell yourself. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I guess it's better than smelling your own armpit smell, I guess. I don't like fruit smells. Even when it comes to lotion, I don't like smelling like fruit baskets. If I wanted to smell like blueberries, I would crush a bunch of blueberries and rub it all over my face. I don't want to smell like that. All in all, not bad palettes, but if you're big on smell, I would not recommend. Next, we have my LA Girl Pro Artistry palette. I actually like this palette, you guys. I've only used her once, and I used her another time on my sister because she had to do her pregnancy maternity pictures, and I used the light brown in here for her makeup. I did, well, I don't want to say I did her makeup. I helped her do her makeup because she pretty much did the majority of everything. I just, like, you know, helped her and let her use my eyeshadow palettes. But the look I created that day was, I think, a blue tone orangey. I love the colors in here. By far this one, but compared to that other one that they had a pink tone one. This is my favorite one. I don't own the other one. This is just the one that stood out to me the most. That color alone right here is like a gunmetal silver gray. It makes the palette so worth it. The shimmers in here are what sell, you guys. Let me do some quick swatches. I did a look with this palette, you guys, by the way, if you guys want to check it out. It's from the Quarantine But Cute series, I believe. Look at that. Just that green right there and that blue with that silvery one. The shimmers are what sell this palette. Next, we have my Melt Gunmetal stack. I literally own 6 palettes, including this one. This is called the Gunmetal stack. I'm hoping they will do an actual gunmetal palette because that's what they did with the She's in Parties one. They did do that. And they also did that with the Rust palette. They had like a Rust stack, and they basically converted that. They took all the colors that was in the stack and made a palette out of it. So this one has, it's like a little stack. It's stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One's a mirror. Then they have this color right here. It's all magnetic, so it all like sticks together. This is called the Hearthstone White. Very pretty though, these colors. I love melt quality. Pretty, you guys see that? Oh God. And then this one's called Assimilate, and it's like this super, I want to consider it a nude, like a nude brown. It's very pretty still though. And then you have Industrial. You guys see that? That's just like this super dark gray shimmer. Ooh, I love that one. I haven't used this, you guys. I've been meaning to use it. And then this one's called Gunmetal. So it's a very, you know, obviously you can create like a rock look, which is what I was planning on doing. This is my Melt Rust palette. You guys know I made a video on this. If you guys seen it, if you guys haven't seen it and you want to see like full swatches of this palette, you guys can, you know, go over there and check it out. But this is the Rust palette. I honestly love this palette. It's a very neutral based palette, but I really love it. Melt has really good quality in their palettes. I have no complaints with their quality in their palettes. Like, very rare when you have one shade that's not a good shade maybe, and then, you know, people are complaining about it. But other than that, every single color in here is nice. Probably wouldn't use this one. This is called the Classic, only because it looks like this, I don't know, for my skin tone, it just looks like this ashy vanilla shade. I don't like it, but the ones over here make it totally worth it. This one, that one, this one, this one, that one, that. Maybe this one, and definitely that yellow. I don't know about Antique, but Antique is like a flesh tone peach. It's really nice still. I really like it. Next we have the Muerte and Vida palette. I'm going to start with the Vida one because I've actually already used that one already. If you guys saw my 1 year in makeup story, like get ready with me, you guys saw that I used this colorful palette. It's very pretty. It's got really nice colors in here. Every single color in here I can see myself using. Sarape is such a beautiful, nice, like, oh God, look at that. It's like this super dark And their shimmers are like butter. They just rub on. Look at that. It's so pretty. Then we have the Muerte palette. You guys already, if you guys saw my little get ready with me with the Vida palette, you guys know how hard it was for me to get this palette. It had since sold out on the actual Melt Cosmetic website, and it was just by like sheer whim that I was able to snag it up on the Sephora website. This Angelito color right here makes the whole entire palette worth it, because it is just like this super metallic teal, very pretty. I don't plan on making a tutorial with this one unless you guys want it, because it's such an old palette, like in the makeup world old. It's not so much old in my collection. Katrina is this really dark navy blue shimmer. They had so many problems with the formula in this palette though. I'm thinking people complained because Calaca over here was completely shattered when I got it. But it is such a pretty shimmer. It's very fragile if you have a ton of fallout in the pan. And I think that's probably why they took the palette away, because there was just so much problem with it. You see how chunky it is? I don't really like that color. I think you could still use her though, because she has such a blinding, maybe as an inner corner highlight, but I'd have to like see how she works. As of right now, every single color in there I like, except for Calaca. And I'm pretty sure they had a lot of complaints, like Melt had a lot of complaints from other customers who probably complained about that color and maybe the chalkiness of that color. Next we have my Melt Cosmetics Radioactive palette. Now somebody asked me, I wasn't sure if it was Beth. Somebody asked me for a rainbow. No, it was somebody else. It was Ken's, I think. She asked me for a rainbow look. And I said I was going to do it. And I was planning on using this palette for the rainbow look, because I feel like you can totally get a rainbow look from this palette. Look how cute it is. All of these in here are shimmers. I'm just letting you guys know. I think this one might be a matte. Yeah, this is a matte. This one's called Melt Down. So look how, that's like a teal. Ooh, a little bit of fallout on my, that's a teal green. Radioactive is this super bright pink. I'm thinking you can, yeah, you can build her up. Little fallout too. Let me see neon yellow. I want to see if yellow shows up. Ooh, let me see if I can build her up. She doesn't look like she showed up that much. She's very powdery too. I have not used this one, so whatever you're seeing me do right now is probably, it's my like first initial reactions to these shadows, because I have not used them yet. Hazmat is this very dark purple. There's a crazy amount of fallout in the pan from just picking up these shadows with my finger, you guys. But the pigment is there. It's just there's a lot of fallout, like not joking. So I'm probably still planning on using that one. I might have to use another palette to create that rainbow look, because right now it looks like it's going to be hard to work a little bit with those shadows. For my last Melt Cosmetics, I have the She's in Party. This is brand new from them. I just bought it, I want to say a couple weeks ago. I haven't had a time to do a tutorial. I'm going to do her next, because I did Urban Decay Ultraviolet today, and I'm doing her next because I've been meaning to just get into her. She's this very beautiful all purple palette pretty much. I mean, I want to say there's about like maybe two you would consider. Well, one is definitely a neutral. Skeleton Kiss right here is definitely a neutral. But just look at these colors. Oh my, you guys, I'm not kidding. I am so stoked for this one. But this looks so pretty. If you're a purple lover, come on. Wouldn't you want this? Next, we have my Juvia's Place Walhalla palette. You guys saw my video on this. I did a video on this. I did 2 looks with this palette. I've used it twice. I've been dying to like get into her again because she has such beautiful colors in there. I love these glitters. They have 3 glitters in here. 1, 2, and 3. This one's by far, Yanga is by far my favorite. Power is a duochrome like purple with this blue shift. Fighter. All the shimmers in here are beautiful. The mattes in here are equally nice too, because even her, the yellow shows up so well. I used her as a transition shade the first look I did. And this love color, which is a vibrant teal, is so freaking beautiful. It's not even funny. So that's it for the collection, you guys. Hopefully this one isn't long. And like I said, you guys are going to see 2 different versions of myself. So you guys are going to be like, Sarah's crazy and stuff. But don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time I upload a video. And until next time, stay warm, stay blessed, and stay magical. Bye, you guys.